whole fit makes sense when she has the pro. I keep getting hit by the overhead. Got him. Oh, what a comeback. Yes. Oh my god, I had no business winning that. Ah. Yes.
So, after 100 games of Zato-1, we have finished at 51 wins and 49 losses. Actually, an extremely surprising outcome. I definitely thought Zato was going to be the new lowest on the series. He definitely was difficult right out of the gate. Definitely took me the longest to adjust to. Even dropping all the way down to floor 7, which I think was a series first. Most of the time I hover between the 9th and 10th floor, sometimes dropping down to the 8th floor for some of the characters that have like more technical things to learn. I think like Ino and Happy Chaos both had a trip down to like the 8th floor. The first time I had gone down so far, I think part of the reason that the win rate ended up being so high was because my MMR was so awful for a bit, that working my way back up maybe had an influence on the final count. But I don't think it's as influential as it could have been, especially given the limited number of games and learning time for the character. So Zato-1 is, pretty infamously the puppet character in Guilty Gear, in the Guilty Gear series as a whole. He fights alongside his little shadow puppet Eddie, who has his own summon gauge that will deplete while he's out or while he's using moves, and then needs to recharge before he can be summoned again. He works off of what's called negative edge, so this is while Eddie's summoned, whenever you release a button, then Eddie will do the command. So if you punch with Zato, and then you let go of punch, Eddie will go into his pierce attack. It takes a while to learn to control him, but what I started finding out pretty early on was that Eddie is the most important part of Zato's kit. Zato is a really incomplete character while Eddie is unavailable, and I had to go through this learning process of a lot of less is more with the Zato side of things, where I was, at the start I was, doing way too much. I was hitting all kinds of different buttons. I was like trying to use flight and do this air approach stuff, and I needed to just rip that out of my game plan while I was learning him, because the Eddie control was so much more important. Just getting a basic, very, very basic understanding of Eddie was really important. It got to the point where I was constantly telling myself, like, the only moves I need right now are 2S and 6P. These are both like really stellar moves for Zato, but I had to keep reminding myself, like, anything more in neutral, and I'm really doing too much while I'm trying to learn. As I said a little bit ago, learning Eddie is probably the most important part, and I don't think it's as difficult as you might speculate it to be. Obviously I didn't become an Eddie master, I didn't become some like Zato mastermind in the 100 games, but making sure that I had more focus on what moves were coming out, or constantly reminding myself, like, use more oppose to start off, use more pierce when you're trying to do this. And it actually became quite easy. It was no real different than just learning a character's special moves, which, I guess is fair, because they are Zato's special moves, are the Eddie commands. You do quarter circle forward punch, and you go into pierce. Quarter circle forward heavy slash, go into oppose. But getting these Eddie basics down, as well as the Eddie movement basics down. Since you do control Eddie with your movement options, there became a lot of times I would run up behind Eddie and I would have him go into like drill or something, and then I needed him to follow up on the screen, but I was holding down back. So making sure to make, you know, the little mental notes of that, like, okay, while I'm doing this follow-up, I need to hold down forward so Eddie will actually come in behind me and be ready for the next series of moves. All these little things are like the very baseline stuff to practice. One thing I do want to say about learning Zato was I don't think training mode actually helped me too much right off the bat. Unless I was learning these things in a match, I really wasn't going to be able to apply them in the same fashion. Training mode right off the bat was mostly just like learning the corner combos, learning what to do, when to go into drill, and stuff like that, when to use invite hell, all these little things. But when it came to learning Eddie control and properly navigating the stage, the map, however you want to put it, that I really could only do in matches. And I highly recommend, if you're interested in Zato, to not worry about combos and not worry about having these sick nasty setups, because those sick nasty setups are pretty automatic once you get somebody to the corner. You'll learn, you go into drill and you go low, or you jump at them, and they have to guess while Eddie does the pressure. They're actually the more simple part of learning Zato is the combos and the setups. Those are the easy parts. It's all the time spent learning to control space properly and to use Eddie in an appropriate manner to control the screen and move them to the corner so that you can begin the autopilot combo and offense sequences. One last thing I want to mention with Zato in particular, if you think this character looks cool and he gets you interested in the game, and I've said this time and time again with some of the more complex characters, don't let it be a deterrent. I think he would be a great character for somebody who's like a blank slate going into fighting games and learning for the first time. He'll be a unique learning experience, sure, but I don't think he'll be any more or less difficult than any other character on the roster if you're coming in extremely fresh. I do think he's more difficult if you have ingrained habits from other fighting game characters that you need to break. And I think that's what happened to me. I was definitely still trying to brawl a little too much. I had that residual soul bad guy energy going on. But yeah, that does it for the Zato games, and that also concludes everybody on the base roster, as well as Biken and Happy Chaos, but that was before I decided to finish up the base roster. I'm going to be releasing a small update video pretty soon, going over what my next plans are. I do plan on continuing through and finishing up with the DLC characters, but I wanted to make sure that once we're done with the base roster that we do pick a main. The series was about finding a main for me to play, so that we do pick one and we do start following down that path. So there will be a bit of a transitional period where we're doing the 100 games as well as, you know, the next set of growth and learning for the character that will be my main. So I hope everybody's looking forward to that. Let me know what you think about Zato in the comments below, and enjoy the matches, guys. Peace. See them, but oh, never mind. We might actually have a match. All right. Almost seems kind of doomed.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society, so instead of reflecting on themselves, they blame. Duel 1.
All right.
Let's rock.
I got hit. Fuck. How did Soul fare? Soul was 53 wins, 47 losses. Hey, oh, nice guy. Hope you're having a good one. Nice throw. Yeah, Zato's gonna be a little pesky, I imagine. Nice. Is Zato going to be the new lowest? You know what's funny is that the lowest right now, that was the very first game, by the way, stuff coming to Xbox, but I don't think Grand Blue is. What? My dash block. Hello? I didn't press anything! Oh my god, Eddie, please. Oh my god, my 6 feet! No! It worked out, even though that was sloppy as fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god. Eddie swung the wrong way too. Fuck.
Axel wins.
Here comes Daredevil.
I'm not sure what I do against Eno. Probably a lot of 6P.
Man.
Probably a lot of Frog.
Let's rock. Slap. Duel 2.
The know your sauce. Ow. Be gone. I had so many opportunities to kill and I didn't. If I lose, it's on me.
Duel 3. Let's rock.
Surprising? Alright. Weird match 100, but it is a dub. It's just a weird dub. Hey, and we crawled all the way back up to the 10th floor.